Someone wants to know David wants to know how common is instant blindness in cockatiels? Their 20-year-old cockatiel went to sleep in his cage one night 2 months ago. The next morning, his right eye was closed. And he was at death's door. Turns out he got an infection by something in his cage, which nearly killed him. The avian vet treated the systemic infection, except for a permanent cataract in his right eye. They're kind of struck by the destructive speed of infections in cockatiels. So what are your thoughts on that? Just like an overnight infection, sounds like that.
Well, I mean, we've all heard of flesh-eating bacteria, and those are kind of overnight infections that'll kill a human fairly quickly. So we're susceptible as cockatiels. I would say after, working with birds for 35 years that most of the infections that we almost all are no different than what's in humans. It's when we actually actually see them. Can you have an infection that occurs quickly? And as you described, yes, it can, even with the best of care and oversight. But I would say that that's somewhat the exception rather than the rule. Also, you can look at the hospitals, and I always try to kind of get everybody thinking on human when you're thinking about disease and medication. You have a 20-year-old cockatiel. Okay, what's the average life expectancy for a cockatiel? So I would say in general 15 years for a normal. Okay. And so if you say 15 years, well, we're at 20. And I'd say, well, I know somebody that had a 28-year-old cockatiel. We've seen those. We've seen some. Again, I always say, well, there's the 120-year-old lady in France that lived that long. But, that's we have 80-year-old is the life expectancy of a human here in the U.S. So the life expectancy. So what that means is that we put this 20-year-old cockatiel to kind of put it in perspective. Well, you have a very geriatric bird. And so the immune system is not what it was when it was a 10-year-old cockatiel, or for that matter, a 15-year-old cockatiel. So with the immune system not being as well as it is, or as robust as it once was, then it's more susceptible to these significant infections, and that occurs with older humans, and that's why they're so susceptible to infections, and so again, that is part of this. It was great that you were able to save the bird, and there could be consequences. There's also other health issues, cardiovascular disease. We've talked about that. The little bird could have had a stroke that was associated, not associated with this, that may have caused some of the blindness. And then also, as with other animals, as they get old, you're going to get lens opacities, cataracts. So it may be where you may not have noticed it before, but these have been developing, and I could almost say that it's not unusual for a 20-year-old cockatiel to have cataracts. The bottom line here is you've been doing a great job. I mean, this bird's in a wonderful home, and to have it at 20 years, just saw a little 22-year-old cockatiel just 2 days ago, and it was cancer, but nonetheless, that's great, and it was in a good home for its life, and so keep it up. The little cockatiel's still going, so even though it has a cataract, it'll do well. So that,